that holiday weekend? Here we are, about to celebrate that all-American holiday of the 4th of July. But how are you going to celebrate your independence beyond beer, barbecue, and maybe some fireworks? Like, are you really exercising your democracy? I can't really see you out there, but how many of you actually voted or are registered to vote right now? Okay. How many of you voted in 2014 in the November election? How about in the 2013 Boulder City Council election? Yeah, not quite as many of you. You know, we're pretty fortunate because there was a time when the voting booth was limited to some people like mostly white guys who owned land. It was only about 100 years ago when women got the right to vote. And for African Americans, they had to wait until the 1965 Voting Rights Act to really get a chance to exercise their power at the ballot box. You know, voting is a right and a privilege, and it's something that we should all be exercising. You know, I come from Iowa, and right now there are all these people running around the state trying to get voters to show up on a cold Tuesday night in January. But here's a little secret about my home state. Not everyone there is rocking out with their caucus out. You know, in 2012, only 19% of eligible Republicans showed up to caucus. It was a record, 19%. We caucus in Colorado too, and the numbers are similar. So we're letting a select group of activists make a bunch of decisions for the rest of us because we didn't show up. But let's forget about 2016 for a moment, because we've got elections coming up here in November. There'll be school board candidates, city council candidates. There'll be a bunch of local initiatives on the ballot, and they impact all of us. For instance, those people elected in 2013, 5 new city council people, they're making decisions about how should we allow Airbnb in Boulder? What should we do about affordable housing? And much, much more, bike lanes. But you know what? In 2013, only 48% of registered voters showed up to vote. And when you think that 90,000 people could have been eligible, really, only 38% of those people weighed in. Voting is important, people. We need to let everyone know how opinionated we are. Yeah. You know, that said, we need to make sure our opinions are informed. So a little bit of personal information here. I'm a journalist, and I mostly report on politics and data. So it's to my advantage that you become informed. But I would argue that informing yourselves makes your decisions better. Now, that's whether you're swiping right or left on Tinder, or whether you're at the ballot box. This is maybe not the match you're looking for anywhere, right? Okay. But to make your match, you need to inform yourself. So learn about the issues. Go out and look at the voter guide in your local newspapers, online, or in actual old school print. Go out and find the interest groups that are quizzing candidates on the issues. Go to those candidate debates and the forums. You know, there are opportunities where you can actually ask some of these folks some questions up close and personal, even if you disagree with them. And there are going to be places where we disagree, but there are more often places where we should agree. We should agree on things: racism, wrong. Sexism, also wrong. You know, and denying science as fact, that's wrong too. Just ask this guy. Yeah. There are legitimate areas where we will disagree, and that's where it's important to listen to one another, like this guy does, because it's cooperation that gets us someplace in our democracy. You know, it's never too early or too late to exercise your right to vote. Certainly that 38% who showed up in 2013 is going to be there. What about you? It's your democracy. You got to be there in November. Thanks.